All right, Biscuit, Shane, new boat by Liquidlogic. Tell me about it.
Tell you about the new Biscuit. Well, let's see. Figured it was time to do a new play boat. Wanted to, bring back some of the feel of maybe a Space Cadet, but add some speed, a little more ease of use, that kind of stuff, and do all the new cool stuff, do all the new tricks.
Right.
That's kind of the basic idea.
Tell me a little bit about the evolution of your prototypes here. We're looking over some footage from some various different places. We've got some skook footage, some stuff up in
Canada?
Yeah, we've got some stuff from Canada, and we've also got some stuff that Daniel just filmed from the Charlotte Whitewater Park.
Oh, cool. Yeah.
And I'm trying to figure out tell me about the progression of your prototypes here.
Well, let's see. We've done 4 main prototypes. The first prototype was very much a sort of a modern Space Cadet. Took the basic elements of the Space Cadet, the kick rocker, the big volume, really good bouncing boat, and then tried to speed it up and make it more a little more user-friendly, easier to roll. Easier to paddle in general, but still keep that super big bounce, super loose hull, and very, very, easy to throw around kind of boat. That sort of basic design.
Right.
Just tried to modernize the Space Cadet, really.
Right.
Then we moved on to after we paddled that first prototype for a little while, some things came up. We wanted a little more speed. The ends got really narrow on it, and that kind of gave it some instability when you were really sitting up on a wave on top of it. It got sort of unstable.
Yep.
So we needed to sort of stabilize the boat when it was up at the top of a wave, try to pick up a little bit more speed, and sort of just develop the edges more. So as you work on the edges, you start to get a feel for how the boat wants to move through the water, and if you have there can be little glitches in how it feels on a wave or on edge.
Mm-hmm.
So you're always trying to perfect that edge, and so the second prototype really went at speeding the boat up and refining the main edge to get that feel that we're looking for.
Right, and so you took that boat, got it on high tension, took it up to Canada. What did you learn from that trip?
Well, on that trip, we learned that the boat is really, really ridiculously loose.
Right.
And as super evident in the videos, the edge, the way I developed it this time, was almost too aggressive. And when we would come down to bounce, sometimes that edge would actually kick the bow the direction that we weren't expecting it to. So I had to move that edge around a little bit. But what it did show me was how well it did carve for such a short boat. And I just needed to adjust that edge so it would work a little better with all the different things we're trying to do. It also played around with some of the volumes just so the boat was a little bit slicier so you could still get that really nice, easy, slicey feel. And that second prototype, it just showed me we were on the right track. We just had a few more. We had a few things that we wanted to work with. Namely, we still hadn't quite got that instability out of the ends of the boat, so I started broadening the stern.
Right.
And that's where we moved into the third prototype. And the third prototype was kind of a shot out. Like I really wanted to try something a little different, keep the same elements, but try to really reach out for speed, but maintain bounce. And that's a really hard they're sort of counter to one another. Speed
right.
a lot of times means dropping that stern rocker, and bounce a lot of times means picking the rocker up. And so finding a balance between those two things is a pretty hard problem. And I just threw one out there in left field to see if I could get it to work, adding a lot of speed and still trying to have the bounce. And we had pretty good shot at it, actually. The speed elevated substantially. We were much faster. The bounce was still there, but we still had some edge tweaking to do, and that's why I went on to go ahead and do a fourth prototype to really stabilize the edge, get a really nice true carve, still maintain the speed, and and then just refine all the lines, you know, and really hone it in. And man, this fourth prototype's awesome. We just took it out for the first day back at the Charlotte Whitewater Park, actually, and it was awesome. Very nice true carve, really quick edge to edge, very predictable on what is a really kind of a crazy little feature. It's actually called the sketch wave down at the park.
Yep.
Because it's really quick. It's got a funky pillow on it up against a wall, so it's this really weird spot. But the boat was able to actually make that wave feel fairly controllable, fairly consistent. So we were able to do really nice smooth carves, but really quick, radical cutbacks, and still doing, you know, your basic, your air blunts and your super loose, clean spins, all that kind of stuff. Even, you know, the young bucks, they were throwing in their air screws and their McNasties and, you know, kick turns and all that kind of stuff. But, yeah, it was great. It was super exciting, and the guys really liked the boat. It felt very controllable and easy to use for me. So I think on this fourth prototype, we really honed it in. I'm super excited about it.
Well, I know Daniel, the intern here, that's all he's been talking about all day. So there was some kind of impression that's made for sure.
Cool. That's sweet. Good to hear. Yeah, he looked great. He looked really good in the boat. Super under control and really starting to tune into it as we went. And that was, you know, I mean, we only paddled for about an hour and started to really get a good feel for how it was paddling.
Awesome. Well, it's always interesting to me how a boat comes from an idea into an actual product. So thanks for giving us a little insight on that.
Yeah, no problem.
All right, Shane, we'll talk to you later.